Natasha Greenwood is with the CBA and the General Manager of Regional and Agribusiness for South Australia, and she joins us here in Murray Bridge. Thank you very much for joining us this evening. Do appreciate it. Always good when a bank gets a clap. Look, talk about everything being thrown. We know about the fires and KI a bit earlier in the year, but obviously COVID, JobKeeper, JobSeeker, all the rest of it. Has that been the fight for this region, just like everywhere else?
Oh, Paul, it's been a year like no other. I think when we go into the start of the year, we had a lot of our farmers that had come off some really dry seasons here in South Australia, whether that was in the upper mid-north or on Eyre Peninsula, but obviously right across Australia, straight into summer and to devastating bushfires here in South Australia in the Adelaide Hills and, of course, Kangaroo Island, as we've seen. Communities just starting to get back on their feet and, of course, COVID hits. So it's been tough.
Yeah, so how have you been able to help those businesses that went pretty freaking close? We know that there was lots of advice, but there was a lot of help too that was coming from the bank to the customers. You must have dealt with a lot of people who were pretty stressed for a while.
Look, our role really has been to support those businesses to get through this time, particularly those businesses in regional Australia. They're an important lifeblood to our local communities, and the jobs that they create are incredibly important. So we were so proud to be able to support those businesses through either deferring their loan repayments, restructuring their facilities, or providing new funds to keep them going. And you know, certainly there are a couple of really touching stories that we've worked with businesses that asked us if we could help them get through to the next wages bill, so that they could make it to JobKeeper, so that they could keep their staff and so that could keep them going until they could get through. Wow. So we've been very proud to do that, and we know that there are businesses that are continuing to do it tough, and the reality is that they will do it tough for some time. Businesses that are in tourism and hospitality and accommodation and retail, we're standing next to those businesses to continue to support them, and we're proud to do that.
In my view, certainly South Australia did very well stopping COVID, but learnt their lesson and realised we have to deal with the rest of the country. Not too far from here, Western Australia locked the door. Victoria essentially locked for the most obvious of reasons. How big a pressure was those state borders? Because we all knew we'd have to deal with not being able to import and export as easily as we used to, but the idea of going to Queensland, finding workers from regional New South Wales, pretty crazy.
Well, I think the best thing that's happened to us over the last few weeks has been the reopening of the borders, and it's fabulous to have you here, and welcome to Murray Bridge.
Please, Paul Murray Bridge.
Sorry, yeah, Paul Murray Bridge. And of course, you know, it's been one of the best things that we've seen. In the first 2 weeks after the borders reopening, I think we saw almost 20,000 people come into South Australia from New South Wales. And of course, those people are coming into South Australia to spend in areas like this, to support businesses like those that you featured tonight. Very, very important indeed.
The importance of agribusiness. How have you specialised and tailored the types of advice and support from the CBA to those organisations?
Well, we're very optimistic about agribusiness, and it's terrific to see those that are involved in growing, in processing, in packaging, in transporting and selling the food and the wine that we drink actually getting the recognition that they deserve. And certainly conditions this year have been very, very good. While there are some areas across Australia that are still doing it tough in terms of very dry conditions, I think right across the country people are looking for a favourable end to the year. Commodity prices are holding firm. Farmland values are up. Certainly there's a high demand for the produce that we grow here in Australia. It's clean, it's green, and you know, I think it's wonderful that we're doing that. So certainly a lot of optimism around agribusiness, and seeing some great stories from businesses that are getting on and doing things. And certainly while there are those businesses that have done it tough, there are those businesses that are growing and they're investing, and we're seeing some great stories like that in South Australia.
There's something that I particularly love about anyone whose only way they get a wage increase is they get up earlier and they go to bed later. They can't work any harder than they already have. They just keep adding effort to the system. you must see a lot of those people, and it must be quite rewarding to see someone go from an idea to an experiment to a production line to maybe a time where they don't have to get their hands dirty again.
Oh, look, I have one of the best jobs going around, Paul. I get to spend my week in regional Australia working with businesses just like you've described.
Yeah.
And even this morning, spending time out in the Virginia area with farmers who are growing our cauliflower, our broccoli, our cabbages and our lettuces, right through to other businesses that are doing really innovative things. They want to invest, they want to grow. These are the businesses that are creating jobs, and I was talking to Nick Femier this morning from SA Mushrooms, and they've expanded their business. They've created over 60 new jobs in the last 12 months. Similarly to the Pie family, who are investing in their packing facilities, who we just saw up in the Mallee. There are other businesses that are doing renewable energy and creating jobs in regional Australia. There are a lot of fabulous stories out there about businesses that are just having a go. They're doing well, and they're having a great experience at the moment.
Natasha, thank you very much. I do appreciate it, and thank you to the support of the CBA to get us here and to keep this community afloat, which is fantastic. Good on you. Thank you very much.